If the ongoing negotiations between the United Kingdom and the European Union were to result in successful agreements on security, trade exchanges, and technological collaborations, it would likely lead to stronger negotiating power for Europeans and connected nations against the United States. Over the long term, there is also the scenario of either replacing or, preferably, integrating the declining American economic, monetary, and military centrality in the world with a Nova Pax Eurocentrica. For months, British think tanks, supported by discreet suggestions from the monarchy, have been exploring the possibility of re-convergence with the EU to implement a global Britain approach different from the solitary one attempted by post-Brexit governments. Their analysis highlights London's growing relevance for defending the Baltic nations, who trust London more than Berlin and Paris, against Russian pressure, for guarding the Pacific, and ensuring free maritime traffic in the Red Sea, among other tasks. However, this relevance remains without sufficient leverage due to Britain's subordinate position within the alliance with America. The recent loss of confidence in the US's willingness to provide security to allies via nuclear deterrence increases the potential value of the British nuclear arsenal and its centuries-long tradition of resistance to imperial threats. Given Germany's willingness to reconverge, the non-total hostility of the otherwise reticent France, and the excellent relationship with Italy, even in the military-industrial sphere, a greater British advantage has emerged in becoming a force multiplier for the EU. The EU needs it. Thus, a reconvergence between London and Brussels seems likely. Although premature, it is of great prospective interest to assess whether British Euro reconvergence could bring along Australia, Canada, which has a free trade agreement with the EU, the CETA, and other Commonwealth countries. In this hypothetical scenario, there is an EU that returns to 500 million direct consumers, plus just as many indirect ones connected by the economic treaties of both the EU and the Commonwealth as well as bilateral British agreements, in a global area that includes parts of North and South America, 20 African nations, Western Eurasia, and various zones in the Pacific, including Japan, along with the prospect of good relations with the Arab world. In essence, though still outlined in a preliminary way, a Euro-British global centrality would re-emerge, with the consequence of becoming a global monetary pillar. The US fears this shift but is not large enough to prevent it through violent methods. Therefore, a recalibration of negotiations is likely, where the US would remain the leading power, but under the condition of converging relations with allies made stronger by Euro-British reconvergence.